Yes, good evening, everyone. I want to start by wishing all mothers a happy Mother's Day. And especially we have Maxine among us. So a special happy Mother's Day to Maxine.
Thank you.
Since we last met, there have been a number of development in Jamaica, and some of them I sort of jot down, and I don't know how we're going to cover all of it. But what I would like us to explore is the protest on Friday in New York City. I'm hoping Mr. Ratigan will join us and give us a brief on it. There's also the issue of the PNP leading in the poll. I think it's a 7 to 8 point lead over the JLP. As a result, we are now hearing that there's a crisis in the JLP. There's a movement afoot to replace Andrew Holness with Christopher Tufton, you know. And in addition to that, Buju Banton is back in the UST. A move which created a lot of confusion and comments and Maxine. Because the last time we met, we were in discussion with Maxine about her journey in the music industry. I don't know, she must have something to say on this Buju Banton thing. But Patrick, you were at the
Yeah.
New York City was about this.
Not hearing you. Not hearing you.
Patrick,
Yeah.
we are hearing you.
You're breaking up, Mikey.
You were
You're
breaking up.
breaking
I
up,
wasn't hearing
Mikey.
you.
Break up, Mikey. That's it.
I am.
Yes.
Is that any better?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
better right now. Yeah.
All right, Patrick, go ahead. Tell us about the New York City protest. You attended this protest.
Yes,
How
the
was it? What
protest
was the
was
turnout like?
yeah. Yeah, it was really a resounding success. We had
Patrick,
it was
stick up in. Stick up in, Patrick.
mm,
Patrick, kind of
yeah.
explain to the people what a protest, because some people might not know what the protest, some people who probably just logging on for the first time or so, might not know what was the protest about and where and when it happened.
Yeah, well the protest is one we have been planning since January, and it took place at the Jamaican consulate in New York on 42nd Street in Manhattan. And it really was a protest around the issues that's taking place in Jamaica now, the corruption, the crime and violence, making the voice of the people in the diaspora be heard, and really just establishing, who we are, and what we are about by holding the government accountable. So, of course, if you're not new to the platform, then you would be quite familiar with, some of the issues we have taken on, right? And have been discussing across the various platforms, right? And social media. And this was pretty much a coming together of um that group across the various platforms. So we had not only people from Ratigan program, right, and Water's vibes and so on, but there were many others, right, from Jeffrey Tavares, Make We Talk platform, from what's his name? Something, another sensation. I forget his name right now, but you know, all the various platforms. You had people coming together from all of these
Mystic Sensation.
Mystic Sensation, yes. You know, and Jamaican Carlos, you know, all the various platforms. Also, even though what's his name wasn't there, but because he's in Canada. But you know, you had people from his platform too, you know. Lonesome. So it was a real resounding turnout. You know, I estimate the crowd to be closer to 500, but you know, the official number that Rattigan used was like 350. But as you know, those are not exact numbers. And the funny thing is that even when I left Herb and was on my way back, I saw people coming down. I said, "It finished already." You know, so you know, it really was well supported, you know, and despite the rain, you know, but it was well supported, and you had, you know, various speakers and all of that speaking to the issues. You know, Herb can really back me up on some of the things as well.
Since to you, Mike, Lady Maxine Stowe, last.
Yes, man. Yell up, Herb. Yell up.
I tell you, Patrick, I'm only sorry we didn't get to sit on and break bread together. We went and we ate after, but I was not only the security overseer, but the transport manager. I had to go get the truck and drive all the equipment and stuff back to the hotel. But we had a fantastic day. You know, we had a lot of people who joined us. Unprecedented, because we did not expect that turnout in inclement weather. I guess that's why Maxine stayed away, because we were looking out for her. And I tell you, I look in 10 different directions and I didn't see her. So I know Maxine had a good excuse. So what can I tell you? It's right in her backyard. Well, not exactly in her backyard, but close.
Close by.
If you had looked in the 11th direction, Herb, you missed one direction.
You know, last I figured, you know, something like that was a miss. Yeah, and we're hoping the people from Boston would come down too, because we're not planning anything in Boston. But if Mikey wanna sponsor something, then we can do that. But listen, the day was bleaky, it was chilly, and it was raining, and it's enough to make any natural born Jamaican lay down in them bed and say, sure, you know, change their mind. We call it the fair weather people. So what we're offering to the fair weather people is a chance to make amends. There's a guy, believe it or not, Mikey, he called Rattigan early this morning, and offered him 6 buses for $3,000 to bring the people down from up north, which means that if people want to assemble in New York or want to assemble in Philly or anywhere in Delaware or Baltimore, we can get the buses to pick them up, take them down. That way they don't have to drive, and you can sleep on the bus, right? So Washington will want it to be grand, because we have the message for Congress. It's Caribbean American Month, so we are empowered to speak to Congress. It it will be on the 13th of June when we have the meeting over at the house. And we can have an audience
Herb,
at that meeting.
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Did the march achieve the success that you guys wanted? The
It
objectives?
certainly did. It certainly did, because it got all the naysayers, all the pro-government, all the anti-government people talking. And this is what we want. We want a discussion about what ails Jamaica. Of course, you know, Mikey, they call for the Global Diaspora Council conference in Jamaica. And when they called for it, we waited to hear, keep in mind, first conference after COVID. And you have to ask yourself, what in the world are they announcing a conference after COVID? And all I'm talking about is marketing and sales of certain products and distribution of products. Then don't talk about the assistance that people need to get out of the poverty that they were driven into. They don't say nothing about how they plan to use the funds that they either borrowed or that was given to them, or the 1.7 trillion that is missing. They didn't say a word about assistance to get the hospitals up to speed, right? To do something about the dilapidated conditions of so many of Jamaica's hospitals. They didn't say a word about the education that's turning out functionally literate kids, even though they graduate, and graduate percentage at some schools, same as it was 20, 30 years ago at 40-odd%, right? They didn't ask for no kind of help except help to sell their products. So we were looking at a business conference opening, a promotion. And so we decided at that point we had to expedite the taking back of our name, right? Global Jamaica Diaspora belongs to us now. We took it back. The logo, we solidified our power over the logo. So we have that as well. And we're going to send them notice, which Ratty will probably address soon, that you're not allowed to use the name or the logo without our permission. Some groups that are using it that are benefiting Jamaica, we'll let them go ahead, but we want them all to know that we are in control and we're not joking around with this business. We're not here to serve business people. We're not here to take care of the business giants. We're here to take care of our people and to help our people. So that's basically where we are right now with that. Ratty, you want to say anything about? Yeah.
The same question, Rattigan. The objectives, was that accomplished? And what's the next step?
Yeah. Everybody can hear me, right? Sorry. First of all, sorry to be late, man. I got up early this morning, had a 3-hour session with another program, Lonesome, and then I went and said, "Boy, let me take a quick nap," and the quick nap turned into something.
Power nap, yeah.
Yeah, power nap. So I apologize for being late, and let me say, Happy Mother's Day to Maxine, and Happy Mother's Day. Yeah, Happy Mother's Day to all the ladies out there, all the people in the comments, the mothers, everywhere, wherever you are. If you can hear this message, Happy Mother's Day.
I second that, Maxine. My bad manners. Sorry.
And big up last Herb, Maxine, and Patrick.
Yeah,
it was great seeing Patrick. I haven't seen Patrick for decades. And to see Patrick come out there, it was a blessing, you know what I mean? And we also, Patrick accompanied the showers of blessings because it was raining, but we were undaunted. We were a force to reckon with, and we went out, we came out in our numbers, And let me just say a few things before we get to if the objectives were met and next steps. You know, the naysayers were out in abundance, and their abundance numbered, I think, 9 or 10. And they said that our thing was a failure.
Go and
It
big
was
them up.
failure.
Go and big them up there first.
Yes. And them say our numbers were, it was lukewarm, they said, and it was, we failed. Now, let me just say this. The weather was forecasted to be inclement, rain and some wind, and it was supposed to be in the 50s, chilly for this time of the year. So we looked at it and we said, there is no. Somebody asked about canceling, and we said, no. Remember that we said there's no rain date, meaning that if it rains, we're not going to push it off to another day. This is our day. This is the day that the Lord chose for us and said, "Uno go out and making our voices be heard." And we say we believe in the Almighty and nobody else, so we are going to just do what we have to do. And I'll never forget, in the morning, because Jeffrey Tavares and I tell him to come over from Jersey, so he wouldn't have to have the long trekking in the morning. And so we shared the room. And I'll never forget Jeffrey in one corner of prayer, and me in the other corner of prayer. And when we finished, we said, all right, we're ready to go. And when we go downstairs, we met up with Prezi and Rupert, and them said the same thing. Them get up and them say them prayer. In fact, when we have breakfast, we had a breakfast prayer right there. So I would say, gentlemen, this is it. We're ready. And we look outside and it was overcast, wasn't raining. And then a friend of mine, I don't even mention his name, the man sent about 6 security guards. Him called me and said, listen, I send about 6 people for come watch, to make sure everything all right. He had 3 people wearing uniforms, 1 guy wearing a suit, and 2 people are mingling at the crowd. And all me I said to him, brethren, we're good. Him said, no. 8:30, I get a call from them. And them say, we're out here. I'm say, excuse the language because it's a family program, but excuse the language. Him say, there's a shitload of police out here. I say, yeah. I say, how many demonstrators? Him say, 10. I say, good. As long as we have 1, we're good, and we have 10. And we'll pack up and we'll trek over there. We're 2 blocks away. And we start with thing. But let me just cut to the chase. One naysayer said that we had 80 people and on our side and 12 demonstrators. A few hours later, another one said we had 200 and 12 and 10 demonstrators. A few hours later, somebody said we had 250 and 10 demonstrators. I was shocked. I was reading this morning, so them say, and it's a naysayer, I write an article and say, no, there were 300 of them out there. I want to say 9 demonstrators. Well, truth be told, here's what happened. The police put us in a pen, right? And the pen is supposed to hold 350. I have a friend who sent her, some friends come out there. Our friends call her and say, hey, it's a rain and it's cold and we can't get in at the pen because the police, them close the pen. And we know the police close the pen when them reach 350. When them reach the maximum, them close the pen, right? Them supposed to open another pen. But what happened is that she said them close the pen and them say we can't get in. So, okay. The DJ, I tell you all them people, what them doing to prevent this thing, But them say man a plan, but God a wipe out. When the DJ come and bring him tent. You tell them the story, Herb, with the tent?
No.
All right. The DJ come and have him tent, because it's raining, I remember I know electrical equipment where I work with. And the man start up in music and things, and the police them stand up out there, The brass, everybody out there. And the place was teeming with police. Police on this side of the street, that side of the street, round the block. Everywhere you look, police. And I'll tell you why so much police was out there. And man of them thing and them bounce a little bit of music and things like that. The consul general show up. And I was sending the video. I don't know if you can play the video, but I'll show you the video because when she show up, she turned her back to the people, and the people must say, good morning, CG, good morning. She don't answer them. Them say, you have a prayer breakfast today, because them schedule a prayer breakfast, In the middle of just a couple of days before we for going, them announce them have a prayer breakfast. No. We announce our thing from us in February, so we are going to do it, Them have prayer breakfast. She don't answer none of it. Turn her back. And then she go inside of the building. Few minutes later, a policeman walk out and somebody come and the policeman want to talk to him. I go to him, say, listen, you have to take down your tent. I said, but what they ended, you know, the rain, I come down, I want to never say anything to us before. I'm saying, yeah, I know, but you just have to take it down. And him say, you need a permit for this and you need a permit for that. And so I said, officer, rules are rules. And if we have to take down the tent, we will take down the tent. And we take down the tent. And the rain subside a little bit. But fortunately, we have 4 sites. So we'd order, I think, like almost 100, something like that, ponchos, right? Plastic ponchos. So we just take a poncho and cover the thing. And fortunately, they were clear. So we put it over the set and the man go and play music. At one point, getting back to the 350 now, at one point, I said to him, say, listen, the people in the back of the pen, them say them can't hear the sound. And that's from the big speaker the man have. So I said to him, move on the speaker and put at the back. And me notice him never do it. So he said to me later, and he said, watch here. Me I move the speaker, the policeman said to me, say, the pen full. The pen full on it. You can't, it'll be difficult for you to run the wire and go back there. So, and you can't come out of the pen and run the wire. You have to run the wire inside of the pen. And it's full, and for you go at the back, and it say it does got be inconvenient. Him say, right now, better you leave the speaker than them there. Right? That's how much them try to mash up this thing, you know. Now, a day before, Thursday, the day before the protest, we reach a man and we call the police. Because I work with a policeman, you know. From February, I work with this man, you know. I'm going to call him and say, Officer West, I know him have to big him up too, because he walk me through the whole thing. So, Officer West, oh, well, look, him say, everything is good. Great. So, you're sure? Him say, yeah, man. Yeah, everything is done by the book. You get your permit, you do this, you do that. And I say, yeah. Him say, you know, because them cover protests for the UN, and the UN people out there every day are protest. And him say, no, something. Him say, is everything okay? And I say, what do you mean everything okay? Him say, you know, we cover up all kinds of protests because the UN is right here. And him say, we don't get calls about protests. But him say, for this protest, there seems to be something wrong because we've been getting a lot of calls. And I say, you serious? Him say, yeah. We say, calls about what? Him say, we get calls asking about whether or not you have a permit. Why? I mean, yes. Why we give you a permit? Why you protesting on 2nd Avenue in front of them? And him say, we have protests come down 2nd Avenue all the time. And him say to them, no, this is perfectly legal. Everything is by the book. So I said to him, did you ever ask them why they're so concerned? Him say, yeah, I asked them, what's the issue? Why are you guys so concerned about this? And him say, no, we're just calling to find out. So, and then a few days before the protest, this gentleman, you know, Dr. Clovis Nelson, people are calling him Dr. Leggings, come out here, wear leggings. Him announced him I have a counter protest. So when we drive down the street, you know, Thursday, you know, you have barricades all over the place, both sides of the street. Now, when the protest started, him and him group try come in our pen. The police them say, no, can't come inside there. We not forgot cross the street. And the policeman them open up a little pen and send them across the street. So that's why when you look across the street, you see 8 or 9 of them over there. And on our side, we are at one point we had 350. People were turned back there because they couldn't come in at the pen. So we just want to make people know, say, just like how them try rubbish us with the numbers in the Miami, we're about 65 people total, and them says only 30, and some of them says is even 20. Same thing them do with try do with this one, but this one different because this one we have video, and we can show the video. You know, we have the Star put out a video, we have our own video, so we could have and there was a contrast between the 350 plus on this side and the 8 over that side there. And in fact, me here, so when you get the party, them, you know, Patrick, we don't know if you hear the same thing. So the people them cross the side of the street say, hey, give me a party. They might ask for party. They're hungry. You have boxes of party. You have chicken party, beef party, and callaloo party. I'm here to them hungry in the cold, you know, cross the street. Say, hey, wow, I'm going to give you a party now, man. So,
chicken party, beef party.
Get to your question, did we achieve our objective? Indeed, we did. Because for the first time, the government of Jamaica realized that there's a dynamic diaspora. This diaspora, as we said, nah, kin teeth. We are kick out teeth, and them realize we're serious, and we are bring enormous pressure to bear on them. We have our sources within their ranks, and now tell us that hey, them really worried about what them I say, because this thing you know a snowball, this thing a mushroom now, and them don't know how to deal with it. Them say nice words like yes, we're open to talking with them, but them don't want to talk with us. Them don't want to talk with us. And I've said to them, I had a conversation with one of their reps in America, and I made it clear. I said, listen, we're willing to talk, but under 3 conditions. And the 3 conditions are: 1, while, because him say the idea was that they would come back to us and say, listen, first condition, we're not waiting. So if you want to take your time to come back to us, that's fine. We will continue doing what we're doing. 2, we're not coming to sit at the table as subordinates, as previous diaspora members. We are coming there as equals. So we are demand, we're not asked, we are demand respect when we come there. And we will be forceful in putting our points across. Very simple. And the third thing is this: any agreement we reach about a diaspora organization, that organization has to be autonomous and independent of the Jamaican government. Any Jamaican government, you cannot have Jamaican government representatives sitting in that body or on that board. It cannot happen, and it won't happen. Not with us. So if the idea is to come and then try and slow roll this thing and soft pedal it and try and get us to agree to have Jamaican officials on the thing, then there's no point in meeting, because we are very, very clear on that. No Jamaican official presence on that body.
And unless Ratty, unless them living at the diaspora and them working at the diaspora and them join as a regular member.
You know, I even said something to the person. I said, the only way I could see that possibly happening, having a rep, is we could have one person from the Jamaican government in an observer status. But we would have to have observer status when you have your meetings. So when you have your meetings in the embassy or in the consulate or at the ministry in Jamaica at that level, then we have somebody who's part and parcel of that body. And if that can't happen, then there's no. But there cannot be no voting members. They cannot be voting members if they come as observers. Cannot be. So we, as far as we are concerned, the message was just the fact that you have people who sacrificed, took off from work, braved the inclement weather, absorbed the expense of getting there. That in and of itself is a victory. That in and of itself is a victory. And remember, it was not Saturday, it was a Friday, right? So where do we go from here? Next stop, Washington, D.C. And we are going to bus people into Washington, D.C. People already asking for buses out of Jersey and out of New York to come there. I cannot tell you how heartfelt the moment was. When I say the moment, it wasn't a fleeting moment, it was the day. To meet all and greet all of these people that you see online. You talk to them online, but you don't have an idea what they look like. And when you actually meet these people and press the flesh, I met people from Texas, Georgia, Florida. There was a lady who took a red eye from California, a 6-hour flight, 5 or 6 hour flight. And she said, I just come from the airport to come to this protest. And when the protest is over, I'm leaving in the afternoon, catch a flight and head back to California. That is commitment. We met, big up yourself, Roland and his wife flying from England just for the protest. Met several people from England. Canada, met people who flew from Canada, people who drove from Canada. Not to mention Connecticut, all parts of Connecticut, all parts of upstate New York, Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, Manhattan people came out. And I'm telling you, Nita, you missed the event, but don't miss the one in DC. Don't miss the one in DC, because that one is historic too. It will be the first. The t-shirts, we'll bring out the t-shirt, the people take the t-shirts like it's my go-to style. I want to thank them because it was a fundraising drive. And we make back the money for the t-shirt. We make back the money plus. And we still have some t-shirts where people are calling and say, them consider it like a memento. Them want that t-shirt that they hang up our frame or something like that. And I tell you, the speeches were dynamic. And at one point, I couldn't see the back of the crowd. And the man them said, no, you have to go up on the speaker. And them said, Ratty, jump up on the speaker. I'm stand up on the speaker, and people said that was a Marcus Garvey, that was a Malcolm X, that was a Martin Luther King moment. Because the people on the back could have seen me, and the view was outstanding, and the people started, "Rah!" And then I grabbed the mic and I said, my people, my family, and the people them start real. I mean, it was we never want to come off, man. Never want to come off at the thing. But, you know, I was respectful at the time, and that we had other speakers and things like that. But jumping at the crowd one time, I couldn't make it back to the front. And the security, them have to bring me come at the front. Because everybody want to meet me as much as I wanted to meet them. So it was mutual. And people just a push money for me. So just a push money and say, see my donation now. We even get a donation, believe it or not, you know. We get a donation from the Reggae girls. Believe it or not. So many people out there just come and say, see our money, I will support you. See, a man bring a Marcus Garvey book, come give me, and say, you are the reincarnation. I say, no, man, no. That like too big. Him say, you are the reincarnation of Marcus. We don't have nobody like you since Marcus I come out here and I chat for it. I say, no. Here's what no. I respect and I revere the Honorable Marcus Mosiah. I can never fill his shoes, but I can try to carry on his legacy. And that's all me I do. I'm not try to be Marcus. There will only be one Marcus. And there'll only be one Rattigan. But when I try to make him proud. I mean, I hope say, Marcus, Friday, him say, well done. Yes, Ratty, well done. That's all me can hope for, to try and carry on him legacy. But cannot be him and never will be him. So, why I tell you, I feel proud. I really feel proud. Not so much of myself, but proud of the team. You know, the call to action team. The 9 away who put this thing together. Proud of the people who show up. You know, I'm proud of forums like this where give me a chance to kind of express the will and the ideas of the people behind it. So we're not stopping. This morning, Pan Lonesome program, already them put out, them so stupid. First of all, remember now we're not Nita. You see where we come from. We're not supposed to amount to nothing, you know. Right? You have a big name, but you come from a ghetto. You have a big name, but you come from a ghetto. But so even though your name Nita, you're not supposed to amount to nothing. Me worse, you know, a few Rattigans about the place. We're not supposed to. See place I want to come from, you know, behind me. Nita place so much better, you know. A concrete house in the dark, but it never in the neighborhood. I see him neighborhood, right? Patrick had the same thing. I see him neighborhood. And we're not supposed to amount to anything. So when we sit down now and we start talking now, then people, first of all, them dismiss we. Because them say, boy, I idiot. We're not going to big school. We're not a big name. Nothing like that. But them underestimate we. And it's a good position to be in when them underestimate you. Because them don't do proper planning. Even if them plan properly, it's still not going to stop the momentum. But them not expect it. You know, just like how them put out like when we come in here, Herbert talk about the business conference with them have the 16th or the 19th. Then put up something saying you can PICA and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade put up something saying that you can come here, you can get your come here, you can get your citizenship if you're decent, right? And we are wonder what that because we are dirty 30 and they must say, boy, we're not entitled to it because we're not decent.
But decent to me.
Citizenship by descent. If your parents are Jamaicans and you born overseas, then you get the citizenship by descent. You can apply. But then put decent, D-E-C-E-N-T, right? And we are laugh. You know what happened? They move, you can't find it now. Thank God, so we have it, you know. We save it, we have it. But we are going to use it. But remember now, appear.
Well, what kind of citizenship them offer?
Eh?
What kind of citizenship them offer? Jamaican citizenship?
Yeah, by descent. Yeah. So them say if you born overseas, then you can when you come at the conference, you can apply if you get your citizenship by descent. But then put decent, them left out, yes. So, you know, we're rubbish
but
them.
Them don't have a clue.
No, you can't find it. Then this morning, them put out another article, and them so stupid. You know, them think how we fool, but Tom not drunk and Tom not fool, and Tom not idiot. They put out another article where them are rubbish up me and lonesome. And you can tell from reading the article that the article was written before the protest, and it was written the day of the protest. When you look at it, you can see it. Because one time they must say, oh, these guys are going to protest. And then further on them say, oh, they are protesting. So you can see it's two, them started way before and them completed the day of. And them go inside there and them misspell the word. In fact, wait there. Them call me a lonesome. Them call me and him some. Me and him and the rest of all you know, Patrick. Anybody who show. Them call me Diaspora Mafia. Them call me one crew. Diaspora Posse. Malcontents. Them call the lot of them. Bunch of troublemakers. Them call us foghorns. Them call us the band of merry men. Them call up ragtag diaspora. Them call us diaspora disgruntled heads, and them call us old timers. All of them named in that one article. Them call we, you know. All of them named there, and we are laugh because we say, you know what? We are getting on them skin. We are getting on them skin. We are dig them, and we are dig them without even trying to do that. All we are doing is just bring the issues to the fore. That's all we're doing. And so what them do now, they make it a personal attack. And while they're attacking us on the personal level, we said to them, say, okay, where are all these things? Now, let's get back to the issues. Them don't want to discuss the issues. Because, and Prezi start out the chant. Remember, I don't know if you were there when him start out the chant. And him continued it throughout the whole program. When him said, he would have said something like, the Prime Minister statutory declaration for 2021 and 2022 have not been verified. So who are mash up brand Jamaica? And the people showed out the government. It gone up. So who are mash up Jamaica? The government. People can't get water, even though them get promises in 2016 and 2020. So who are mash up brand Jamaica? The government. I mean, I tell you, man. I tell you, it was joyous. It was also very serious and to the point. So, Nita, I talk long enough. I retreat from the stage now and make you carry on with the program, sir.
Let me say this.
Yeah, man. Heartwarming. Heartwarming, right?
I don't.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
Finish.
Go on, Michael.
Lass. Go ahead, Lass. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Considering, you know, the last time where there was room for them to bash the thing and make the thing like it was not paint the thing has not been successful. I mean, the report now, you know, suggests that them don't have no room, you know, to derail and deride what happened. And I mean, it's heartwarming. And, you know, I hope the momentum continues to the other demonstrations that are planned. Still, I noticed that you still have some of the detractors in the news media still trying to paint the organization as unreasonable and, you know, not willing to talk with the government, because the first couple news items I saw after the event were trying to do just that, you know, and trying to paint a picture as the whole demonstration not affecting the government and the government not fazed by what happened, you know, but we know otherwise. So, I mean, I feel good.
Don't want to say I've been another thing. I've been a big up yourself. I said you just reached back from Florida from the protest. I tell you, I met so many people, believe me. Met so many people. So many people said, Mr. Rattigan, we want to thank you and the team for all in our do for us and the people back in Jamaica. You know? And I mean, it was outstanding. They got the shock of their lives because them bringing in a whole bunch of preachers and think that okay, that I got frightened away and between the prayer or meditation moment when I'm gonna have with them the schedule at noon and the rain and the calling to the police, then without hope that it could have just mash up the whole thing. And I tell you what, Lass, I've I have so many calls and so many text messages from people who didn't make it and apologize for one reason or another. You know, personal reasons, health reasons, travel. One guy, Devon Taylor, the guy who was spearhead the beach movement. Devon was on his way from Washington and him car broke down. Him car broke and text me and said, boy, I have transmission problem. Can't make it. You know, if everybody did show up, they would have open.
But I tell you something, you know, Ratty. After I leave you and I head back.
Did the consulate have their thing?
My meet
Ratty?
people come down now. I said, finish already.
Yeah.
Some people still come.
I met Patrick, you're right. After it over, and was me because I was one of the last to walk out of the pen. When me I walk out, me say families are coming now. Families are come. And a lady said to me, say, some family are coming, them come late. I just stay and take some picture with them and talk to them and everything like that. So a lot of people came late.
Yeah.
A lot of people came late.
Yeah, to add to that, Ratty,
Yeah.
people I told them about the event. And by the way, I getting a lot of interference on my internet, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, me
But I think I'm trying to jam out the show, Mikey. they in that much of a panic. But
They have to come stronger than that.
would you believe people were showing up yesterday morning? Think it's Saturday morning the protest is.
Wow.
People call me from the site.
You know, Mikey, make me add a piece while Herb try reconnect there. You know the one in
go ahead.
Miami, right? It was organized by the people in Miami, led by Dr. Rupert Francis. And they tried to make it seem that I was the person behind it. Because them said, no, it's not Dr. Francis. Is Ratty gonna lead the thing down there? Is Ratty gonna lead it? Meanwhile, they had their own team down there looking at, you know, logistically, set everything up. And I just got on to lend my support, right? When I came back, I made it clear to them. I said, listen, I don't have to worry about the one in New York who organize it, you know. I'm me, Ratty gonna organize it. Dr. We operate under the banner of the Crime Intervention and Prevention Task Force. But we don't want to bother Dr. Francis because I lead it. I will make that clear to them. And no, them must say, well, it was Dr. Francis, you know. So it's just like Herb now, I take the lead now upon the one in a DC. Of course, I will support Herb, but it's Herb, I do the in my organize, in my collaborate, the permits and all that stuff, transportation, communication, food, all of that is Herb. I forgot to deal with that. So what we do is that instead of you have the the organization, Dr. Francis, if you are running and do all of this, we said no. Here what we are gonna do. Appoint a person from each area where you got the protest and make that person there, put that person in charge. It'll be much easier. I make that person there run it, and if the person needs support, then we will provide support. So Herb, I run the one down in a DC, and Herb, my people, my family, now the chat, and I want to watch. Now beg on, we need the support. We have to help Herb because Herb have 4 things are going on next month. Herb have legislative week where the Institute of Caribbean Studies have to put on a week-long program for the Congress people. Then Herb have the protest. Have the protest are going, and then him have the meeting set up with the Congress people so that we can go talk to them about Magnitsky and Farah. And then there's something else, Herb. I think it's 4 things I know you're responsible for doing next month.
But I'm drawing a blank right now. Matter of fact, I'm glad you repeated them because that's how tired I am from driving down this morning. But it will.
Gone again. See that? Look at Ransford. Ransford say,
let me say
when I
this.
walk to Grand Central, him see a lady who could hardly walk, and she asked him if the protest was over, and him say yes. And she said, well, me I go because me have to go get my t-shirt. Well, mommy, don't worry, just reach out to it because we have t-shirts here. So your t-shirt safe. But these are the and I also heard Herb talking about the unregistered illegal organization that they have. The cease and desist letter going to go out, if not this week, next week, advising them that they should cease and desist from using the name Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, because that name belongs to us. And when I say us, the people in the diaspora, it doesn't belong to the government of Jamaica, because that's what they've been doing. And to show you how this thing works out, I met a man who was privy to to all of this information we're talking about, the formation of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council. And the man said in the meeting, the minister said, this is our thing, this is a Jamaican government organization. And if the diaspora wants to form their own organization, then let them do so. But this is our one, we controlling this one. That is the unregistered one that they have, you know. They control the registration and the voting of that organization. And when the voting is over, them count the votes. And when them decide who the winner is, they appoint those people as representatives. So how can those people claim to represent the diaspora? We never give them no appointment letter. We never give them no on-board certification. They represent the government of Jamaica. Well, all of that done. And them have to realize now, and keep in mind, they claim that we are a fringe element. They said that it's just a few people. It went from the dirty 30, decrease to 3 to 5 people in the diaspora causing this uproar. And the 3 to 5 people, they were able to get out 350 plus in inclement weather on a Friday. And they who claim them represent the wider diaspora, them could only get out 9 people. If them have an election again, them know what happen. Because we have a run. But by the way, them can't have an election using Global Jamaica Diaspora Council. That not gonna work. That not gonna work. And let me just say to you, Anita, the reason why them cannot register that is because you cannot register a 501c3 not-for-profit organization in America and have foreign government officials on it advising and instructing and influencing American citizens to fundraise and do all these other things. It can't. So many laws are going to be involved. In fact, this Saturday on the program, I hope to get on Bruce Sakaris, internationally recognized lawyer when it comes on FARA issues and Magnitsky Act. He's coming on this Saturday. I hope to get him on this Saturday. And we're going to talk about that, and I'm going to explain why is it that these Jamaicans over here who have been appointed by the Jamaican government, why they should file under the Foreign Agents Registration Act. I'm going to explain all of that to show you that them people are, what them do illegal, what them do. The 3
like
representatives.
Like spying.
Yeah?
It's like spying.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like spying. And it might make them know that since 2017, the Department of Justice beef up the FARA unit, and they have been prosecuting.
Tight now, man. It's tight now. Tight.
Yeah. So them are going to say, man. Them all say.
I noticed that Mark Bolton was in the Diaspora meeting. I'm not sure where he was. I think it was Florida that he was.
Yeah, that's another lie that they're telling us. That's another lie, Maxine. Them claim that Mark Golden has been in touch with us.
He was in
Mark
Florida.
Golden was going to make an appearance. Complete, utter, baseless falsehood. Neither I nor any of the people have been associated with the 8 people receive any calls from any PNP operative or official. No, we don't get no calls from him. And by the way, Mark Golden, I think he was in Florida. I think he might still be in Florida. Yeah, Mark Golden never met. Another lie they spread on us. They claim that we burnt a Jamaican flag at the rally. And that's another lie. In fact, Maxine, we went above and beyond the call of duty because you know what we did? We played the national anthem, not once, twice. We played the national anthem twice. So we don't have no time for them people there.
Well, I think the
Gentlemen,
Did the Consular General make another appearance after that initial meeting in the morning, Rattigan? Did she come back, or did
No.
Did that event that they said they had, did that go on?
Yeah, we saw some preachers.
You didn't see
going
any
in-
sign of any event taking place that day?
Yeah, in fact, one of the
Yeah, go ahead, Ratty.
one of our supporters saw her pastor going inside the building. So, and then we saw something with them up the meeting, the prayer breakfast or whatever it is that they were having inside there. That took place. Yes, it took place. And she did not
okay.
make another appearance. No.
Gentlemen, it is. I think the Jamaica Labour Party government should take this demonstration as a warning and a lesson, and they should realize that here in America, in North America, there is a group of independent Jamaicans who are willing to stand up to them. They should take this as a feather in their cap or what have you. You know, the People's National Party government also should take this as a warning that Jamaicans are no longer willing to follow the party line, the party position or what, when it comes to our rights. You understand? I hear the people say a lot of things, you know, call Rattigan name and what have you. But I will put Rattigan up against any one of those naysayers in terms of his honesty. What he's trying to accomplish is not a PNP or GLP thing. It's something to benefit all Jamaicans. And we should stand beside him, behind him, you know, because this GLP government, you know, they play very rough. They play very rough. And Rattigan, you should be on the lookout for all sort of things. Because if they can't get you one way, they're going to try and get you the other way. So I hope you're taking care of your own security and what have you. Huh? That is all I have to say on this protesting. Boston, we would like to watch a bus from Boston too. You know, tell us how we can get a bus to come down. Because we can mobilize some people if you tell us.
All right, no
You know?
problem. We have a supporter who has access
Mikey,
to 6 buses.
well up here.
Yeah,
We
have a supporter who on last night's program while we were talking, he sent me a message saying he has access to 6 buses, and he gave me a price and said we can just move the buses, use the buses to transport people. So we already have some people from Canada reach out saying they want to fly, come New York and just jump on the bus and come down. And in fact, you know, I might even just take a train, go up to New York and come back down on one of the buses you know. That's how passionate, that's how close I feel to the people, that I have to ride with them, you know, and give people a chance to interact and give me a chance to interact with people as well. It's not a one-way street, it's a two-way street. And I look forward to it, I welcome it, I embrace it, because at this point in my life, you know, there's no turning back. And if I think it was Dr. King who said, if a man have a reason for dead, then you have no reason for live. And I'm dead set in. This is my purpose. This is my calling now, you know. And so there's no turning back. And we don't need, you know, when you think about it, yeah, would I love to have the numbers, but what we really need more than the numbers, we need dedicated people. So I'd rather have 10 dedicated people around me than 100 people who, you know, them just a chat and them not really take no actions, but people who really involved in that. I can't begin to tell you how many people actually came up to me and said, listen, I want volunteer. We have some names, some volunteers. In fact, this week, we have a meeting with the volunteers. We have a meeting with the volunteers for deal with the website, deal with the funding issues, deal with helping Herb and all of that. So we have a list of volunteers already. People have come forward now. One lady said to me, I've never volunteered for anything in my life. But this, count me in. Count me in.
Yeah.
And them come in and them say,
to the point that Ratty, I mean, you make a solid point right there, because that is something I've been meaning to talk to you about from before. That as you see the support step up, you know, So the organization, you have to step up, That's how you're going to have to tighten the organization. Because even when you're mentioning the matter with the buses, it means that you're going to have people who intend to attend will have to pre-register
Ah,
so that because you can have one bus for 200 people, right? And at the same time, what happens is that when they register, they know that they commit themselves to be there and they be there, right?
Correct.
And the thing about it is that, even with the buses, right, and all of that, it means that we're going to have point persons in all of these places,
Right.
right? And them have to put together a work team, right, to cover all bases.
Right. Yeah, we're going to set up a site where people can pre-register and make them financial commitment. Because if a man pay a money, it's unlikely that him now about to come unless there's a really compelling reason that the person can't make it. So that is what we're going to do. So we have the numbers, and based on the numbers, then we have point persons, and we have pick up points and things like that. Because we may have a bus to leave Bronx and it stop at Brooklyn and pick up the people in, and then it go on to Jersey, and some people can actually meet the bus on one of the rest stops. But we'll work out the logistics. But the important thing to know is that one, we have volunteers. And two, people are going to come. And 3 on a Saturday, so it's more likely people going to come. Here's how I look on it, people. A holy pound, leave the tri-state area and take bus and come down for watch high schoolers are run. Right? We are asking them now to come down here and run in this race to make changes for the Jamaican people. I'm not demeaning the sport event. What I'm saying is that this is bigger than the sport event. This is much bigger than pen relays. So if you can't do pen relays, you certainly can do Washington, D.C. And we are going to ask to make that commitment and make that dedication and come out and show up in numbers and have us raise our voices in unison against everything that's going wrong in Jamaica. And for the naysayers, they will come and say, oh, but Jamaica is doing this and Jamaica is doing that. We'll say, no. If you're doing what you were elected to do, you get no kudos. Right?
Yeah.
Because you already promised that, and you get your compensation for that, which is your vote. So don't tell us about we're doing this and we're doing that. And the other thing is, at the end of the day, we want to be able to say that we took a stand. We just didn't sit back and criticize and in a little corner or commiserated with our neighbor, but we came down as a group and we went down there and we let our voices be heard. And it's going to send shockwaves throughout Jamaica. And keep in mind that after DC, and my fervent hope is that we improve upon what took place on Friday. And I'm supremely confident that that DC will be a bigger protest than New York. And after that, we're going to Canada. Canada is going to be a much bigger protest than any prior protest, bigger than the one in Miami, bigger than the one in New York, bigger than the one in DC. In fact, I would like Canada to be bigger than Miami, New York, and DC combined. That's what I would like to see. And then we're going to the UK.
I can't set me up to stay up on the road.
Then we're going to UK. And after we're done the UK, Consul General Mayor, I know you, I appreciate you, I admire you. But this is not about you. It's nothing personal. But we're coming back to Miami. And them laugh about 30 people. When we come back to Miami, don't look for 30 people. I won't give you the number, but it won't be less than 30. So I just said there. Anita, you have to come out, you can't sit down in your armchair and then
So, Mr. Rattigan, when we before the march, there was an article in the Jamaica paper. I was trying to find it. I don't know if that's what you were referring to when you said there was some kind of outreach and you were putting the points that that's the only way dialogue could occur. Who is it that I don't remember, but there was is it the foreign affairs people that was reaching out to you about what the platform that you're developing? Was there an official, not an official, it was in the paper.
Right.
It was yeah, I don't.
No, here's what happened. What happened is that there were several articles written. One by Delia out of Florida, one written by Ambassador Ward out of DC, and a couple other people. And what they were saying was that, look, we're all Jamaicans. Let's sit as a family and resolve our differences. That was the general theme of all of those articles.
Okay.
And then there were some other articles saying that we never want to meet with nobody. We just hell bent on just destroying brand Jamaica. So what I did, I reached out to an official in the United States, and I was talking to that official, and then we had another phone call. We never met. It was just a phone call, and the second phone, and both phone calls were in the interest of, okay, how can we meet, and how can we set up an agenda? What do we want to discuss when we meet? We never met. And when the second conversation ended, and the second conversation, Dr. Francis and I were on the line, and it ended with that person saying, okay, I will speak to, my superiors, I'll speak to people, and then I will come back to you. That person has not come back to us.
Okay.
So there was no meeting. It was just a phone call about a possible meeting. No meeting took place.
Okay. So the objective, the agenda that they speak of, not they speak of, but the agenda for the culmination of the protests, like when you reach to Miami, the expectation is that this agenda would be met more forthrightly with the government, meaning.
Well, here's the thing, Maxine. We have said, and I have said it, and I'll continue to say it. I'm not about regime change. I'm not sitting there and telling people that change government. What I'm asking to be done is the government to change in the way it dispenses with services to people. That's why. That's what I'm trying to do. Listen. Okay, fine, no problem. We have people like that all the time. Man.
Can you respond? Can you respond to that?
Yeah, I can respond to that.
All
right, let me respond to that.
For me.
Whoever the person, Wayne Thomas is, let me explain something to you. I can't speak for myself, right, in this. When I left Jamaica in 1977, I was too young to be enumerated to cast a vote. In my 17 years living in Jamaica, I've lived in JLP communities and I've lived in PNP communities. I had no interest in what was going on in Jamaica after I left until a few years ago, 2-3 years ago, right? I am not a member of any political party. I'm not persuaded by any political party. I have no allegiance to any political party. None of them never give me nothing. I'm not beholden to any political party. I am beholden to the people of Jamaica, the people who live in other communities, particularly the people who live in other communities like the one behind me. Those are the people I am beholden to. I am beholden to people, not politics. I am beholden to people, not party. I'm beholden to people, not color. And so I know in my heart I'm doing this for the right reason, and I stand on the side of justice. Now, what Mr. Thomas, or the person using that name, should tell me is that the things I'm saying, I am lying. For example, give me a second, Mr. Anita. I have 10 things here. Mr. Thomas, you must tell me that when I say that the Prime Minister's promise, that the Prime Minister promised to that people will be able to sleep with their windows and doors open. You must tell me now that I'm lying. That's what you must do. Don't you see what happened now? You say I'm telling a lie. Tell me now if that is a lie, that the Prime Minister promised that you'll be able to sleep with your windows and doors open. Tell me that's a lie. You must also tell me that the financial disclosures for the Prime Minister for 2021, 2022, that they have not been verified. that I am lying about that. Tell me that's a lie. You must tell me that the Prime Minister, when the Prime Minister requested anti-corruption and good governance training from the Integrity Commission, and he received the training, and the Integrity Commission said to him and his cabinet who received the training that they must sign a code of conduct with seven principles of good government, including honesty, transparency, accountability. And he did not sign. None of them signed. You must tell me, say, that is a lie. You must also tell me that the state of emergency that the government declared, that them lock up black people unlawfully, unconstitutionally, and now the taxpayers are paid for the lawsuits. Them, it's not the government. Government not have money. A taxpayers' money. That the court ruled that the state of emergency they were at least one of them unconstitutional, and people are suing. You must tell me now, said that is a lie. You must tell me, Mr. Thomas, that when that the government under the cover of darkness, the government amended the constitution so that the DPP could get an extension in violation of the constitution to continue her stay as our stint as a DPP, and the court overruled that and said no, she cannot get two extensions, she only get one. Tell me, say that is a lie. You must tell me, say, when the government raised them pay by up to 200, well, beyond 200%, and tax, and the civil servants them only get 20%. You must tell me, say, that is a lie. When we talk about students, that the rampant corruption over at the Ministry of Education, and that Jamaican students are now performing below international standards and be in basic subjects, math, English, and so on and so forth. You must tell me, say, that is a lie. When I say that the Auditor General say 1.7 trillion Jamaican dollars unaccounted for, that's almost 11 billion US dollars unaccounted for over the last 10 years. You must tell me, say, Mr. Rattigan, you are lie. When I said to you that in 2016 and in 2020, the government said at one point they were the opposition, but they said, listen, we are going to fix the water problem and the drought problem in Jamaica so that all of you can get clean drinking water. And we see what's going on right now. Sir Thomas, you must tell me, say them things they are lie. When you, don't focus on me about me a PNP activist or me a PNP supporter. Focus on the issues when we raise, and then we can have an intelligent discussion. But as long as you come to me with this nonsense, that me a PNP or me a this or me a that, then we cannot. And look, if you really care about the people of Jamaica, this is where you need to talk about the issue. Don't talk about me. Okay, we could have come from moon. As long as me raise the issues, them make we talk about the issues. If you truly care about the people of Jamaica, make we talk about the issues and make we come together and solve the issues in the spirit of brotherhood, truth, justice. Make we do that. But as long as you stay out there and you cast aspersions on me and my personality, then we're not going to solve the problems. We cannot sit at the table. That's simple, Nita. You know, by the way, hold on a second there. By the way, you know them
say that the next march should be in Atlanta, Stone Mountain.
Look, that's why I said people can tell us where they want the march to be, because we will be there. We'll be there.
No,
they'll be our pointers. No, listen, them also call me. Them say the whole of we are PNP thugs, right? And me no going to good school. I ball my G primary room going on, right? And so I said, me don't know what thug mean. I'm going to look up the word thug. Me look up thug. You know what thug mean? Thug is a man or a woman who acts violently, especially to commit a crime. So they must tell me now what crime me commit. And if me commit a crime, why the police them never arrest me? I whole heap of them there the Friday now. And see me there, so I talk to you now. Not from behind bars, but from my house. So I want to know what kind of crime me commit. Them also say that I'm vindictive, because to me never get the job of police commissioner. Then that's why I'm vindictive. Now me look up the word vindictive, a big word them there now. And vindictive means having a strong desire for revenge, where you intend to cause anguish and pain. So I said to them, say, well, listen, if the idea that me never get the job means that I want to cause anguish and pain, remember now, talk about truth, nothing about truth, anguish and pain, then we really, should I be angry at both parties? Because the first party to reject my application was the PNP. It was the PNP. They would have you think that it's the JLP that rejected my application. But before the JLP rejected my application, it was the PNP. So if I'm vindictive against both parties. And therefore, I stand right squarely in the middle, trying to protect who? The people of Jamaica. And think about it, they're claiming that I'm vindictive because I applied for the job of police commissioner. Now think about it. I didn't apply for the job to be on a board and collect a cushy salary and live big life. I applied for a job where a lot of people wouldn't even want. Why? Because I knew I have the skill set to control the crime in Jamaica. And crime is a huge, it's the number one priority in Jamaica. So I was willing to roll up my sleeves and go do the dirty work so that people like this man who just talk to you, if him live overseas, him could have go to Jamaica and have to worry. Him could have sleep with them doors and them windows open. That's the job me apply for. Me never apply for no job like, some cushy job in the back where me I make a money as a consultant and nobody no hear about me and me just a live big life and a carry on. No! Me apply for a job. We're up to today, that problem has not been addressed. And that is the issue of crime and corruption. I am telling you, I was ready to lock up some people down there. I talk both sides, PNP and JLP. I was ready to lock up some people down there. And then we have people like Herb Nelson, my team when me that bring go down there, right? The team when me I bring down there, them not be holding to nobody in a Jamaica. I bring investigators from Africa. I bring investigators from Europe, from the Far East, from the Middle East, and from North America. And there were some in Jamaica I identified that were honest and trustworthy, dedicated public servants that we could work with. That me that go with. And what did I say? I also said, me no want no peer. Me no want no peer. This is my duty. It is my honor to rid my country of criminals. Criminals in high and low places. And therefore, I don't think I should be compensated for that. And I was going to ask my team to listen, if you can, please don't take the money from the taxpayers because the taxpayers have to go pay for the salary or do it at a subsidized rate. But I have to set the example and I said, I don't want no money because you see where I come from, behind me, I just saw me start, right? And Jamaica give me as dilapidated and as you see the fence and everything look. I did get a start because Balmajid, them instill a whole heap of principles in me. I remember now, the most important part of a building is the foundation. See the foundation there? I had that behind me. It might look crooked and mash up and everything like that, but I did get a foundation there. And upon the foundation, then me stand up till today. That foundation there. So, we have not more for set to people like that.
Yeah, you have one more thing for say though, right? For borrow Jamaica and Carlos expression. When we say that the government operates without integrity, tell we say that is a lie.
There you go. There you go. It's not a lie. It's not a
There are
lie.
problems with the Integrity Commission, so that
Look at what happened to look at what happened to the Williams, the principal of Pomona, right? With UA, because remember, say them have a problem now, but them kick out the people, the UA component, them kick them out of the consulate in New York, right? No, I can't remember him for Delvin. It starts with D. Williams. This man, he went up against 3 or 4 candidates to become the principal of the University of the West Indies campus at Mona. He scored the highest in the test, and he scored the highest in the interview. And what did the Minister of Education, the Honorable Favor Williams, say? We have to do consultations on this. It never happened before. The person with the highest score is the person who was appointed for the job. That's the way it's always been done. And she held on to that. And it was only when the students across the Caribbean start saying no and start raise them voices, then put him in there. Right? The government of Jamaica start cut back their assistance to the University of the West Indies. I think now it's 80% cut back from where it used to be. So it is no wonder that them throw the people them out. And in fact, the article will come out yesterday where the one with me and Lonesome dissected today and analyzed. It was admitted that yes, them kick them out because it's time for them to go now, time for them to leave the rules and go find them own way in life. So I am not surprised by some of that. So when Patrick, when you raise the issue of integrity, of course, the government is acting. It's acting without integrity, even though we have an integrity commission. The integrity commission now not teeth anyway, no people. Not teeth anyway. No, toothless tiger. So that's another issue we have to deal with another day. But no.
And without a moral compass.
No moral compass. No moral compass at all.
So we and Thomas need to go do him homework.
Well, on that note, well, we are the type of people who we allow people to talk. You know, we love, let Mr. Thomas talk and the others talk. You know, this is a movement that is not going to stop today.
Let me give you another example.
It's going to continue.
Well, Anita, let me give you another example.
Go ahead.
The minister, the junior minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, the Honorable Terry Long, said that he said, look, I have no issues with these people protesting. It's their right to protest, right? I have never heard of a protest where people are complimenting people. A protest by its nature is where you express your disapproval of something. You ever hear of a protest where people say, yeah, we're protesting because we love what they're doing. They're doing great for the people. You never hear that. A protest by nature is where you hear people say, no, we are voicing our displeasure with what's going on. So when you say, I don't have any problems with them in a democracy for them to protest, you're saying I don't have any issues with them protesting and saying things about us, right? So what they want to know, they must say, yeah, you can protest, which is to express your disapproval. That's what protest means. You express your disapproval. You can protest, but we don't want you to say bad things about us. That makes no sense. Then here's the opposite of that now. In January of this year, the United States government enhanced its travel advisory to Jamaica based on health services grounds, right? Her Excellency, the Ambassador, Audrey Marks, she was up in arms and she said she's going to have meetings. And in fact, she even reported that meetings are going well. They're going to change. I mean, the people not believe her. We work with State Department for years. Them not change. And up to now, them still don't change. I remember January this come out, you know. And she have fooled the Jamaican people are telling about meetings are going well and them are going to change. No such thing. What did she do after a while? She encouraged the diaspora to do what? To protest. She said, I want to write letters. I want to send them to the State Department people and tell them to disapprove of the way them do them things. So how come she now can tell the diaspora people so they must protest against the government in the country in which they live? But we now have no right to talk about what going on with in Jamaica, our homeland, with our people. It don't make sense. Yeah, it don't make no sense at all. No. But people mustn't forget that she asked the diaspora to complain against the State Department, to protest in writing against the State Department. We mustn't forget them things there.
But
not forget them things.
The other piece to, the other piece to that as well, that is that what that is saying is that the government at every stage refused to take responsibility for anything. That is what that is saying. They don't take responsibility for the job they have to do, right? Because they figure that however they do it, right, it must be shoved down our throats and we accept it, right?
See that?
Without question.
Hey, so what on the Patrick? So I'm in the chat,
one of the things, Ratty.
GG. Eh? No, it's a GG, I know. GG Jones. She used to live at White House. Ben, I used to live in the same yard. GG, big up yourself, man. When we come at UK, I hope you show up, for the protest. Go
Listen,
ahead, lad.
listen.
Yeah, one
I
of the
want to
things
shift the
that,
conversation. Go ahead.
people, one of the things that people like
What's
we
wrong
and
with
Thomas,
that?
need to understand is that what we are, you not hearing me?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that the kind of proposals and the kind of structures that we are proposing for transparency and accountability is not a partisan issue, because if the structures, right, that we are proposing are put into place, and the proposals that we are advancing are put into place, it's not about holding JLP government accountable and not holding the PNP government accountable. These proposals are about holding any government in Jamaica accountable to the people. So it's not a partisan issue. It's not that we're trying to say because there's a JLP government in place, we want transparency and we want accountability. We are trying to prepare the people and make them aware that with the people being strong on their demands, it is about holding any government, whether them is PNP or JLP. So the things that we are advancing on these platforms will also be putting the PNP, if they
Gentlemen,
should come to power, under the microscope.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
last something wrong with last thing. Gentlemen, Maxine, I want to shift the conversation because we've been over this and we're going to continue discussing this. Maxine, the last time we had you, we were talking about your journey in the music industry. Since that discussion, Buju Banton is now back at a quest. We know of a number of individuals who served time in this country, got deported, and they cannot enter, they cannot return to the United States. How is it possible that Buju Banton was able to return? And is this the future of Jamaican music? Because I see Buju Banton in Miami with DJ Khaled. And you know who DJ Khaled is. So Maxine, probably you can help us to understand what is going on with Buju Banton and the music industry, local music industry.
Well, to move from the reason around the diaspora and the strength of the diaspora, our music is also a diaspora product, and it's defined by our diaspora. I was just counting on my fingers how our music entered into the United States in the way that it has, and related to this visa story is actually the U.S. Immigration Act of 1965 that encouraged immigration out of the Caribbean, and that effect that it had on Jamaica was a migration similar to Windrush. In fact, our migration into England subsided, and the focus of our movement was America, and New York was the epicenter of that. And so our industry, as Will was talking, and just a general discussion, my mind went to what has our diaspora contributed to the economics of Jamaica? I'm not speaking of remittances, but really, the economic framework of Jamaica. So as I'm flowing with the reasoning, I remember just a few weeks ago, the opening of Juicy Patty franchises in America, and immediate oversubscription that they had, like the demand was so high, and the whole, energy of economic success. So as we're reasoning here, and I'm looking at what these last 60 years of Jamaican migration into the United States has created in and of itself in our commodities, our culture and our products and services, you would really have an outcome like this that we are now negotiating. How this result, even though the Immigration Act, it invited us here to build America, and we did build America, but we also build a framework for our culture and our goods and services to occur. I say that in respect of the visas then that were canceled, not just for Buju, certain artists since about 2005, when the gay lobby came against the music and described our industry as murder music. In fact, I was at a protest in front of the consulate, and around that time, protesting against the
Designation.
United States cultural agents seeking to pressure Jamaica economically, or based on the whole gay lobby issue, and how our musicians, our music was being targeted in this broad-based pressure tactic. So that is my background for the loss of visas. Buju lost his, he compounded his loss with what he got caught up in personally in the case that he got, sentenced for. But when he got sentenced for that case, it was in the larger framework of several artists in the dancehall frontline losing their visas and being pressured, about not being able to work in America unless they signed a Compassion Act. And regardless, what happened was artists like Beenie Man, Bounty Killer, Sizzler, Capleton, Buju, there may be a couple more. I think there was about 7 to 9 of them that were targeted and eventually lost their visas. Or
But Buju is the
I'm just putting his
Buju
return
is
because
different because Buju was convicted.
it conflated with him getting personally in trouble. But I'm saying to you, this very period that we're in, there's also the return of Sizzler. You understand? There are shows now popping up all over our diaspora for the return of Sizzler, who was another artist that was also not had lost his ability to come into America and work. I'm just telling you from my perspective. I understand that there is a question in relation to Buju's case as to whether, I think you have to wait 10 years once you're deported. You have to wait up to 10 years before you can apply for a waiver, right? And obviously, because I'm seeing that he's getting his visa when several of these artists now are getting back
It's
their
not
visa.
10 years since Buju from prison.
No, I'm saying it's 6 years. I think it's 5 or 6 years since he was deported. And so the question being asked is why is he being allowed back into the US on the, without fulfilling that that amount of time before he gets a waiver to return. But I'm saying to you that there's a larger issue that is being addressed, right? I don't know if it is because our US ambassador to Jamaica, Nick Perry, is a Jamaican American, right? And is a bit more, I don't know. All I know that there's been a softening against these artists because, again, remember, this is the front line of our music that was shut down, separate and apart from, like you said, Shabba Ranks, who was caught up. He wasn't denied any visa, but clearly his career was off the mark. So I'm telling you, my answer when you ask me about Buju regaining his visa and access, I have to look that the murder 7 or whatever they were categorized as, that all of their visas now are practically reinstated, him being one of them. So I don't know if that is a factor, right? Because there's an economic factor to you locking down 7 top artists out of Jamaica, out of the biggest market. You understand, of the popular culture where and our biggest populations, etc. If that was a pressure point that the United States or the international people were putting on Jamaica, that was a huge pressure. That was a huge economic loss, I can tell you, cumulatively to the music economy, right? So setting that aside, I mean, put in that context, I can answer, I can frame now Buju getting his visa currently. Buju was also signed, actively signed, even while he was in deported. He was actively signed to, I think, one of these major companies here. I don't know if it's Rock Nation, where DJ Khaled is also a signatory to that company, right? I noticed that so I don't know, again, these are power players in the music industry, right? And economics has a role in this, right? So I am saying that I saw DJ Khaled welcoming him, and there was a big promotion about what is going to happen with him, etc., etc. Yes, Buju has to carry the cross. The other artists don't have to carry the cross. He has to now carry the cross and explain to the public, or answer to the public, as in this forum, why he's being allowed in as as somebody that was detained and deported. Where does he get his where does he get this right that other maybe deportees or people didn't have to answer to that, right? So my answer is that it's because he's within this larger framework of these artists now being allowed in after, I guess,
But not
a few
only that,
years of
Maxine.
being
There's
out.
also I think you touch on it, but I really expand on it. Right? Is also, you mentioned the economic factor. The big power players. Rock Nation is one of the biggest power player right now in the music industry in the US. Right? And not only in hip hop, but across the board. Right? And because Rock Nation is what's his name?
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z, yes. right? So it's a matter where the gauge is, right? Where the economic gauge is as it pertains to Buju, right? Because like you said, Buju is a big economic factor right now when it comes to dancehall music.
Yes, because a lot of these artists, I remember, they said, "Oh, to hell with America. We can go to Africa and other markets and, you know, retain our economic value." It doesn't work that way because it is the American market that owns the industry in all of these other countries that you intend to go into, right? And so what they found is that even though being locked out of America, even though you're free to travel to all these other places, the majority of your earnings and your capacity and where your publishing and all of these things are centered and controlled are in the US, are in the United States, right? So to be locked out of the United States is a major effect on your career for any artist, right? And even though other artists have freedom of speech, they do things that piss off America or piss off the system or piss off groups. They're not they're not locked out. You're not denied entry into a country, right? So there were some human rights issues developing in relation to this wide cross section of artists, dancehall artists, who were locked out. You understand? And so I'm just saying to you also that in that period, African music, African popular music has made a major inroads into the US market. A lot of it seemingly, acknowledging to have been inspired or fertilized by our music. You understand? And there was a lot of pushback that, the industry, like we're being left out. We can't even participate in even the Africans opening up the market. You understand what I'm saying? Because most of it is dancehall driven.
But
Right?
didn't Buju also make a tour in Africa since that time, since him come out?
No, he was in jail.
No. Since he came out, I think he made a trip to Africa.
Maybe he made a one show, but nothing.
I don't know if he made a show, but he made a trip there, and
He possibly made a trip. A lot of them
reception
make
was
trips
big.
here, but I'm telling you, the biggest investment in Africa, in the African music industry, is from the American companies. It's not the African music industry that is investing in America, or you find that even most of Burna Boy, Davido, these artists are actually African artists living either in England and or America. You understand? So if you study the music industry, I am curiously observing now. You
All right.
understand what I'm saying? That the opening back up of the market to these frontline artists, right? Even though we do have
Okay.
new artists that have come up, Skilly Bang,
Right.
Skeng, and all of these guys. But what they have found out is that, I don't know if you see the trending all over about 90s dancehall. Everything you hear is about 90s dancehall, because that era of music alongside the hip hop is still a major income earner. And so this is the industry seeking to make money. If they want, this is money to be made, they're gonna move things around for them to make money. You understand? So that's how I contextualize Buju. And he has to deal with this pushback in relation to his incarceration. But look at what happened in Jamaica. He was deported and he sold out the whole of the National Stadium. You know what I'm saying? So the economics is definitely there.
Maxine,
I agree with
Rattigan.
you,
I
Mark.
understand the context that you
Last,
that
hold on a minute. Rattigan, 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 Rattigan. He's not hearing.
You're muted, Ratty.
you're
No,
muted. You're
I mute
muted.
me. I mute me.
All right. Rattigan, what is your take on this Buju Banton thing? How is
Well-
it possible that a man got deported and within 5 years he's back in the United States? You're the lawyer here.
Yeah, it's not unheard of, right? One of the things I would have to do, I'd have to see his deportation papers to see how long
Okay.
was his rejection from applying for a visa. Because sometimes when you get deported, it could be 5 years, could be 10, could be 20. I've seen some for life. So I would have to see that document, because if he stayed out of the US for how long has he been deported now? Anybody know? Does anybody know how long he's been
I think
deported?
like 6 years, 5 years.
Yeah, so it may have
I
been
think it's more than 5 years.
right. So I don't know for how long the deportation might have been. It might have been for 5. It might have been for 5 years. And then what happens is then you apply for permission to reapply for your visa. And if that is granted, then it goes through as if you're just doing it for the first time, as long as you don't lie on the application. So for example, if you've ever been arrested, you check yes. And then they ask you, the circumstances, and you lay it out. And in his case, everybody would have known. So there'd be no reason for him to lie. Especially since it was the American government who prosecuted him. So if that's the case, yeah, that's not unheard of. Then also I'm hearing stories, and again, we're just speculating because I haven't seen the documentation. But there's one where I heard a story about his son being dead, or his son died in the
He
United
was
States.
killed, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's something called a humanitarian parole that
Yeah,
they
his
will
son
allow
died.
you.
Yeah, but he
They
was
will-
buried in Jamaica. So
Yeah, but
there
even
was
so,
no
if his
need.
son, how old was his son? Because his son may have had business here. Was his son a teenager or an adult?
He was, about 21. He was an
Yeah, so
adult.
his son may have had
An
business
adult.
here that he had to come and tie up. You know what I mean? If his son didn't have any kids or whatever. I don't know the circumstances. All I can tell you is that if you've been deported and you have a close relative, who you have to come to a funeral, a graduation, a wedding, or whatever, you can apply to the U.S. government based on humanitarian grounds. And they, in some instances, they'll allow you to come in and do whatever you need to do to attend the event and then come back. So I don't know under which category he falls. So I'm just, we're speculating here. I would have to see his documentation to know exactly. But those are two distinct possibilities, that he served out his 5-year period and then he applied to for permission to reapply, which he did, and now they've issued the visa, or the humanitarian piece. The only thing though is that for the humanitarian piece, you can't come in and perform, because you tell them I'm coming in to take care of insurance or take care of this or take care of that. So you can't come in and go up on stage. That's not the purpose of the visa. The other one where you apply for permission to reapply and then you
He has a
apply.
show.
Well, that means it wasn't a humanitarian parole then. So it must have been that he applied for permission to reapply and they granted that, and he applied for the visa and they issued the visa. And that's not unheard of. Because there are very few things, because you can file a waiver, there are very few things that they will not give you a waiver for. Very few things.
And
essentially,
again, depending
a
on
waiver is saying.
the climate as well, because the issue for which he was incarcerated, the climate and that has cooled significantly. So that he wouldn't even be much of an issue for him now.
Yeah. Look, we really don't know. I'd have to see the paperwork. So we're just speculating. We're we
Well,
just
it's
have
over
to.
5 years. He was released in, he was deported in 2018, December 2018. So that's over 5 years. So it could be the 5-year mark.
6
Yeah,
years.
and then there's a piece where you can actually write to the Attorney General and ask for leniency. So there are several ways you could have gone about doing this. You know, we don't know, but we don't know how he got the visa, but we know he did get the visa. Does anybody know what kind of visa he got? Because there are lots of visas. What kind of visa did he get?
They're speculating that it was an O visa. O.
Yeah, but see, they're speculating. See, we don't know. I would like to see the visa that he received. If it was one that would allow him to come to America and perform. And apparently that was the type, because if there's a show schedule, then that's it. But and then it goes back to the waiver. And as I was about to say, waiver.
That's the thing. That's the thing, Ratty. He's supposed to be. That's the thing, Ratty. He's supposed to be. I think he's supposed to be performing, because I think there are shows planned for him in the United States.
No, they're planning.
The next thing, though,
they don't
is
have
that
a show planned.
doesn't the United States? Well, they're planning it. Doesn't the fact that he got a 10-year sentence for drug possession or whatever be categorized as an aggravated felony in the United States, and that would require more than 5 years to get a waiver, right? And that's the thing that makes the thing much more speculative, that people are trying to understand and wrap their head around what exactly is happening, because drug possession in the circumstances that he was caught is an aggravated felony in the United States and requires much more to get a waiver.
But here's the thing. The thing is, we don't know what the judge said. You know what I mean? Because, well, somebody's saying that he had voluntary deportation. They really don't use the term deportation anymore. They use removal. But they said after he served his time, right? Then he said, I will leave. Right? So he didn't, what my understanding based on what this person is saying, because I don't know the case, is that he didn't face an immigration judge, because, you know, after you finish your time, then ICE, they take possession of you.
Right.
And so he said, look, I want to go, I don't want to go see a judge. So he volunteered and he paid his way and he went home. But even if that is, so he avoided a judge making a decision on when he could come back, right? That being the case, he could easily, after a certain period of time, just say, hey, I'm gonna apply. And then remember, no, it's discretionary. So it's up to the officer reviewing that application. And that person, in his or her discretion, could say, I don't think this guy is a threat. I think he did his time, and I think it's fair for us to just give him a visa, and then they give him a visa. So we don't know. We really don't know.
Yeah, I think he got an alignment. You know, when certain things are aligned,
That's a
and
speculation.
Yeah, all right, let me give you a case, right? Think about this case. The gentleman came in and was caught with marijuana, right? Several pounds of marijuana at the airport. And went through the trial, found guilty, and was deported or removed, and was told that you have 5 years. You cannot come back to America for 5 years. They didn't take his green card, which they should have, and they normally do. 5 years later, to the day, this man purchased an airline ticket, came back to America. CBP welcomed him with open arms and said, sir, you know, you need to file for your citizenship, you know, because you have your green card a long time and you've been out of the country for a long time. And they let him in. They say, have a good day, welcome home. So like Maxine was saying, sometimes things are aligned, because if that CBP officer had done his job properly, he would have seen that this person should not have been granted entry. Should not have been. You have to be inspected and granted entry. And so during the inspection period, they would have found out that, wait a minute, this guy was removed and there is no application where his visa was reinstated or his green card was reinstated. There's nothing. So therefore, under normal circumstances, they would have secondary this person, meaning that they take him off the line and they put him in the back, have him sit down, and then them run all the checks. And in the end, they would say, okay, the next flight to Jamaica, you're on it, and send him home. But that man is here in America. No.
But you also know, within the US industry, music industry, going to jail is sometimes a credential, right? No, I'm just telling you, people are not judging it. Oh, this person went to jail, blah, blah, blah. He shouldn't be allowed back into the music industry, or he has some moral defect. You understand? If you observe the music industry, especially the urban music industry, going to jail is not is not a negative to your career. You know what I'm saying? So him going to jail and being released, the marketplace, you understand, both the consumer and the investors, who are these labels that invest in talent, you understand? For them, he's good product that they would seek to make a return on.
You know, it's kind of hard.
Moral issue for the industry where Buju is concerned.
You know, for me, right, it's kind of hard to make a judgment about this case without seeing the paperwork. And that's why some people are saying, well, why is this important? I mean, for some people, it's important because they're saying, hey, me get deported, right? For something far less down where him do, and then him get a visa, how me can't get back my visa? Well, you need to get a good lawyer. So, you know.
Not only that, you have to recognize that it's who is your employer. If I'm just Maxine and I get arrested for spliff and Ray, and when I go to the US embassy and you have to show your credential, what's in your bank account, what's in this, what's in that. You understand? If I have $1 million in my account, or the person that is bringing me in have how much $1 million, you know, the people are gonna say yes. They're more worried about the people who don't have no money or don't have no ties or whatever they say. Do you have ties? Are you know, etc. So that's what I'm saying. It's very
yeah, part of that, you're right. Part of that is your sponsor, meaning your employer.
Your sponsor.
You know,
yeah.
Right. Part of that is yeah. That's true. That's true. And you're right. The poor people who get them have nobody has sponsor them. Nobody have reputation was sponsor them, as opposed to a rock nation. And I don't even know if rock nation has sponsored them, but assuming that you have a big company behind him or whatever, saying yes, yeah, he's applying for this visa. When he comes, he will be in our care and custody, and we will be doing the following things. Then, you know, it's a different matter. It's a different matter.
Hello?
Well,
her back, you know.
One thing is sure. Yes, I see her. One thing is sure, there are going to be questions, ongoing questions about this sort of arrangement, because a lot of folks come to this country, them juggle, them get deported for less than what Buju was charged for, and they can't return. The families still separated. One part in the US, one part in Jamaica. So it's a very interesting case, and I agree with Rattigan. We need to see the documents to find exactly what happened. Gentlemen, we have spent a long time talking about some hot topic. We talk about protests, we talk about music. Is there anything you want to raise? Herb, you were away. You have anything you want to raise for the panel to discuss?
Well, pretty much what I'm asking everyone to do, for especially for Washington, treat it like this is an initial protest. We have educated the public enough, Michael, to where the public needs to do their own homework, their own research, and look at what it is we've been talking about all this time. I shudder to think that people don't know exactly what it is we've been addressing. I shudder to think that they still allow these people here and in Jamaica to confuse them about what the issues are. The issues are simply this: kleptomania, missing funds, misappropriated funds, lying, cheating, stealing. Those are the issues. And if they say to me that, oh, that's just regular stuff. No, it's not regular stuff. I put out a thing to everybody earlier showing where the HBCUs, the historically black colleges and universities, are owed billions of dollars here in this country. The HBCUs provide 50% of your judges and 50% of your lawyers in the United States. And I'm not talking about regular lawyers and regular judges. I'm talking about black or African American judges, African American lawyers. And they are coming up short on funds. Now, look at what happened. The Prime Minister just got an honorary doctorate from a HBCU in Delaware State University. You would think that he would feel a need to have full accountability on the monies that he's gotten, the missing 1.7 trillion, or the latest funds he got from us in the Northeast, $456,000, and 30 million from the VP. All we ask of them is to give us an accounting of the funds, what happened with the money. And these people cannot organize or cannot keep double entry accounting and speak truthfully about what happened. You have to go chasing them with ATIs or chasing them down for an answer and getting it from some sub-source within their organization. The U.S. has to ask for a return on investment by checking what is it that these governments are doing with the funds that's granted to them, and in fact, come up with answers before they get the next check. So we're pitting HBCUs and their lack of billions in funding against these Caribbean countries, especially Jamaica, that have been given billions in funding and have no return on investment for the people of the United States to recognize that we've been helping these people along the way. And this is what we all need to be more conscious of. Our kids here as Americans are impacted by this lack of transparency, accountability, and exercise of democracy by small countries. These small countries are tantamount to what some towns and what some counties run as a budget. It is a pittance to them, but they have to be fully accountable, and they are. And if they're not fully accountable, then somebody's going to jail. Well, now it's time to start putting people in jail, especially those people who are accumulating wealth at the expense of others, especially our expense here in the United States. So if the CG, if the ambassador, and the rest of them don't understand why it is that we're so keen on accountability, is because our kids suffer in the long run. And our students are not able to be funded as they should. And that's pretty much one of the things I wanted to speak to.
What
Nita,
about
now
the
something you want to bring up.
constitutional reform scenario? Mikey,
Yes.
there's some
Yeah.
issue now with this so-called constitutional reform republic document and linked to the CCJ versus the Privy Council. I mean, in this focus on governance, what is the position with this changeover of framework? It seems like a joke to me in terms of the process that it's taking. And, you know, they said they were having some town hall meetings, and now that just went quiet. I don't remember what came on the platform, and then you don't hear nothing more about those meetings. Then all of a sudden this week, now you're hearing about a dispute in Parliament about the report of how this constitutional reform should occur. And it's now linked to the Privy Council versus the CCJ. So I'm not sure where that falls in the agenda, but it is, you know, curious.
It would appear, Maxine, that the government has finalized, the government meaning the actual opposition as well as the government had finalized some list. And missing from that list of changes is a change from the Privy Council to the CCJ in the Caribbean. And more
Nita.
So, yeah, you're Radical. Go ahead, Radical.
Yeah, there's something I
Or
want.
this frozen. Go ahead.
There's something
Yes,
I want to bring
Radical.
up. Yeah, something I want to bring up, and it has to do with the DPP. And
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, her
Yeah,
sent
ahead.
off a letter to the Prime Minister, and I think he CC'd the Governor General. I'm not sure if he CC'd King Charles, but under the Constitution, the DPP can only be removed by the Governor General, and only in the case where the Prime Minister recommends to the Governor General that he institute a tribunal to look into the activities of the DPP. And once that's done, the tribunal will then, or they're supposed to look into the activities and make a report to the Governor General, whether to remove or not. So Herb sent off that letter, and it's constitutionally sound. What we're not sure about, and we kind of figured that maybe it wouldn't happen, is the Prime Minister recommending it to the Governor General. So that maybe they're gonna throw it in the garbage bin. But again, when I was playing football, I was sure, 100% sure, that if I don't take a shot, I'm not going to score. So you take a shot, you don't know what can happen. So that is what happened. Instead of sitting back and say, well, the Prime Minister not going to do nothing, we say, no, I could take a shot at goal. You don't know. And here's another shot where we take at goal, that we're going to take at goal. I have documents ready right now to file with the GLC, General Legal Counsel in Jamaica, this week. And what it says is that the DPP violated several canons, legal canons, provisions by which lawyers abide by in Jamaica. I think there are 8 of them I identified. And the purpose of that is to ask them to discipline her. Now, if we get enough of these, they're going to have to take some action because we're going to send it to the media as well. But my documents, they're ready. I've sent it out to a few other people. I'm waiting for them to come back this week. And once they give me all their affidavits and everything, then we'll send them off. And if the GLC has no choice but to look into the matter, and the as they say, the gravamen of the complaint, which is the essence of the complaint, is that she sat in a judge's chambers discussing whether or not to move forward with the Vibes Cartel trial after being advised that a juror attempted to bribe the entire jury. At that point, her obligation to justice and the Jamaican people and to her canon was to say, the jury has been tainted, we cannot move forward, even though it's 60-something days into the trial. Let's call a mistrial, let's disband the jury and let's start all over. She didn't do that. She said, no, let's move on with it. The defense attorneys objected. They said, Judge, it is clearly evident that the jury has been approached by this one person and offered a bribe. The jury, 4-person, a lady, she provided evidence to the judge, the DPP, and the defense attorneys that she herself was approached and that she was aware of the other jury members being approached. And in fact, she even had a tape recording of the conversation with the offending juror. And the judge went on with the trial. He listened to the DPP, went on with the trial. And we know what happened at the Privy Council.
Was any action taken
hearing.
against the perpetrator?
Yeah, they arrested him. He's in prison right now. But not only that, what she should have done once she heard the evidence, she shouldn't have allowed him to go back and sit on the jury and pass judgment. She should have immediately called for his arrest. But she didn't. She allowed it to go through. Then the guy was arrested and was charged. And then CMDPP prosecute him. The guy is in, I think, the CM office prosecute him. He's in prison now. But here's what happened after. She was interviewed on nationwide radio. And she said, hey, I've been doing this for a long time. This is not my first rodeo with tainted jewelry. I've done this before. And now we're saying, wait a minute, hold your horses. How do we know that innocent people are not in prison as a result of what she did? And this is a violation of her canon. So we're asking the GLC to conduct an investigation into her behavior, look to see if innocent people are in prison as a result of her behavior, and then to discipline her. Now, the effect of a discipline is this. If they say we're going to take your license for a year or 2 years, now look at what ISAT did, right? Look at what ISAT said, and ISAT pled guilty, and the initial suspension was for 2 years. This is far worse. And so if they suspend her and say, well, listen, you can't practice law, then the idea of the appeal as to whether she should and the Constitution is of no moment, because you cannot have a DPP who has a suspended license. You cannot have a DPP who cannot practice law. You cannot. So them can't keep her inside there. So that is going out this week, provided I get the rest of them. My paperwork, the exhibits, I have everything ready, but I'm just waiting on some other people to one hand can't clap, who want holy pants for clap. So once the other hand clappers, them send me their stuff, I package everything and I just send it to the GLC, and then we're gonna publicize it. We'll go from there, because this is an attack on justice. This is an affront to the rule of law. When you have a DPP who said, yeah, this is not the first time I do this with a tainted jury. I do this a lot of time. And we have as an exhibit, we have the interview she conducted with Nationwide Radio. We have that. So, and another thing is that, what kind of DPP? How is this DPP so special that we must have her? We must amend the Constitution to have her. She's got special skills. When this woman didn't even realize that there's a case called Michael Manley versus Lena.
You know what?
but here's the thing. So that's the question. So we know why. But what we are doing, we are put it out objectively in a mean. I say this woman and have no skills in terms of being extended, because this case, this significant criminal case with Vibes Cartel and the jury, there's a case called Michael Manley versus the Gleaner, where the jury foreman, it was determined at some point during the trial that the jury foreman and Michael Manley belonged to the same union. And what did the judge do? The judge disbanded the whole jury, not just remove the one man, Him disbanded the whole jury. And in this case, we have a case where a juror go around and bribe and attempt to bribe every single juror. He went around and attempted to bribe every single juror, and she said, no, keep him on. So Shafiq explained that. And she have all the resources of her office, and she never said this case. She don't know nothing about Michael Manley versus the Gleaner and what them do with the jury. So, brethren, we have to
So right, admitted to having done this several times before.
Right.
And the Ministry of Justice has not come out and addressed those cases. Matter of fact, we don't even know who the cases are. So if there are people who were found guilty after the jury was tainted, then those cases need to be reviewed and action taken to either overturn them or retry them. I should say. They didn't say anything about that. All they're doing is run around and say that they don't believe that they act by 3 Supreme Court justices who form the Constitutional Court. They're saying, oh, we believe that action was correct. They should not have excluded the extension. Well, they need to fix it, and fixing it will also show that she probably should either be prosecuted or disbarred completely and be put out to pasture right now, rather than wait and give mount a appeal after it was disclosed that the decision taken by the Constitutional Court, they're going to change. This one must have a whole lot of stuff for them.
Herb, you come through broken up, man. The transmission not clear at all.
Oh, it's broken?
Let me just say that Herb I take it a step further than when me I take it, because Herb won't go after the Court of Appeal now, because he must say, well, they knew the evidence came before them, and them still affirm the lower court decision, and they shouldn't. So Herb won't go after them for the GLC now.
Put them all of them in the
But I can get where Herb coming from, because here you're talking about the tainting of the whole judicial process.
Yeah. So Herb, but
right, man.
But see what happened is that I think me I take a penalty now, Herb I take a free kick out of the box. So my one I think I think my one it will cause them less angst to deal with. But when you start, so boy, we are go after the panel, the court of appeal panel that looked at it. That might be even more worrisome for them. But I think we have a very strong case against her. Yeah, I think we have a very strong case against her for this.
There's no doubt about that, Ratty. And the fact is, now you have 3 other people, just like your judge in the case with Apina. That judge did selective reviewing. You telling me, say, all these people go through high school and college and can't read, much less comprehend and interpret what the law says? That's what we're saying here. And we can't make excuses for them. I know our good friend, an attorney in Jamaica, likes to, says he respects when you turn it, to say, when you deliberately, a deliberate act of malfeasance, you don't want to apply to it. It don't make sense.
Gentlemen, I think we have come to the end of this conversation. You know, we're not hearing too well from Herb. However, the point is, I want to thank each and for turning out this Sunday. Again, we want to wish everyone a happy Mother's Day, both the fathers and the mothers. Okay? To the listeners,
Mother's Day,
I
brother.
ask you
Mother's
to
Day.
like, subscribe, give us a feedback, comment. Yeah. What did I say? Father's Day? No, it's Mother's Day.
You say
So
both,
I
you
wish
say both the
everyone
fathers and the mothers. You say our mothers we are dealing with today.
a happy Mother's Day. Ratigan, go. Yeah, because father play a role also, you know. I
And
always
you
try
have
to
mothers
get
who
Them
have
day,
to be
them
fathers.
day.
Mother's Day,
Their day is
whichever
there.
way.
Yeah, Father's Day.
You have mothers who have to be fathers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but Mother's Day is Mother's Day. You don't
Yeah,
get
man.
in an argument over Mother's Day.
Yes.
Mother's Day is
And
just
if
for
you are
men.
transvestite,
That's what you say. Well, I don't want.
Herb.
I don't
Wrong
want.
program,
don't-
wrong
I
program.
don't. Excuse me.
No, hey, you know what? No, Herb is a point.
What the question, Herb asked?
Herb is a point because here's what happened. I had to for the protest, we had to rent some batteries because we didn't want to get a permit to use a gasoline power generator.
Yeah.
So we had to get some batteries, right? And the batteries
Yeah.
I rent clearly when I called the company, it was a male voice, right? And then I said, "Sir," and the person corrected me and said, "No, I'm a she." And he explained to me that I'm going through transition. You know, I'm going from a man to a woman. And I actually met the person to get the batteries, you know. And so Herb raised the point, you know, that what about those folks? Because they consider them this particular person.
Which day we put them with our Father's Day and Mother's Day?
Because I said, because I mentioned something
both.
about I mentioned in discussing when I returned the batteries, I was mentioning something
He said,
about
"Sir."
talking to this person, and I had said call the person like sir or something like that, and said, "No, I'm a she." Remember, and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, you know."
Yeah, but again, that's really about honoring how that person identify themselves. That's basically what that is.
Maxine said no.
Yeah.
No, I mean
that's the point.
A trans
It's just a wrong
doesn't
program.
have
That's the point,
anything to do with
Maxine.
Mother's Day.
If the person identifies as
Gentlemen, hello. Let's close this discussion. Where this is going? It's good. Yeah,
Herb started. Herb.
Herb.
I'm an equal opportunity.
Hope not kind of worms, Herb.
Yes, let's call it an end to this.
That's the last
narrative.
ball in the over.
All right, so guys, Maxine, next Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah, take care. What good.
Folks, have a pleasant week. Sorry about
the last ball.
look. Yeah, they're still jamming up my transmission. I don't know what the problem is. I'm trying, Mike. I'm trying. These people drawing my tongue. What?
No. You know what this Herb? Ratigan.
Herb gone.
People that you are his intelligence officer. So you know. Yeah. Okay.
Tease, I'm gonna throw him under the bus, Tease.
Ratigan,
It was recorded for everybody.
Patrick.
Yeah, take care.
That's the boy, you know, he's a tar, Ratigan.
Later.
Bless
All
up,
right.
bless up, Ratty.
Oh, God.